Quite intimidating, this. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Marin Bikes YouTube channel. Duncan Shaw here, and on today's video it's a very exciting one for me because I get to show you guys my brand new Marin custom trials bike. Everyone at Marin has been working for the last 12 months to get this thing ready, so we thought we'd use this as an opportunity to show you a little bit more about the bike, a little bit about the spec, and even show you some of the little random things that we do to set these things up for riding street trials on. So I think the only place that we can start in this is the all-new Marin Inverness frame. Every bike in the Marin range is named after a place that's in Marin County. I'm from a town called Inverness, which is in Scotland, but coincidentally there is also a town in Marin County called Inverness, so it only seemed fitting that we call my very own custom trials bike Inverness. So looking at the frame, you just can't get away from how brightly coloured this thing is. It was really cool to have the opportunity to work with so many awesome designers and kind of incorporate a little bit of that sort of retroness that Marin is known for. The level of detail is just absolutely insane. Everything from the colour selection to the spatters of paint everywhere. There's a cool little DS logo, which is definitely a cool thing for me to have. It's not something I've had much in the past, so absolutely buzzing on it and can't wait to get out and ride this thing in the street. So to give you a little bit of an idea of the geometry on this frame, it's obviously a lot different to what many of you will be used to seeing on mountain bikes, BMXs and road bikes and stuff like that. Starting from the back, the chainstays are very short. It's similar to a dirt jump bike. I think they come in around the 360mm mark, which gives this whole look of a very compact seat and rear wheel. What that does, it makes it really nice and responsive when you're up in the back wheel, doing things that we call gap jumps, as well as doing manuals, which is something I absolutely love to do. So nice and compact, really stiff and really responsive. Another thing that's really important on the trials bike is bottom bracket height. It's a plus 15mm bottom bracket. Just gives it loads of clearance, so it's less likely to catch on walls or rails and anything that we're riding up. So moving on from BB height, a hallmark of pretty much every trials bike is a very low seat. So that of course means a very short seat tube. This one comes in at about 280mm, which allows maximum clearance between your seat and your ass. Get the bike tucked up right into your body and do all sorts of street moves when you're out riding your trials bike. So moving on from the back end of the bike, the front end is definitely a little bit more spacious. The reach is 442mm, a little bit longer than what I'm used to on previous bikes, something I've been thinking about for a while, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's going to allow me to do. One thing you might also notice with the frame is a super steep head angle. This is 73 degrees, which for you mountain bikers out there might seem super steep. A slack head angle might be good for riding down steep, rough stuff on the mountain bike, but on the trials bike, it's all about a responsive, maneuverable ride for being in full control, so a steep head angle is a must. So moving on from the frame, we have the inspired 4-play forks. I'm stoked with how they've come out and how they've been matched with the frame from the painters. But yeah, I've been riding these forks in different versions for pretty much the past 6 years. Never had any trouble with them, so glad to be continuing to run these. So moving on to the cockpit of the bike, I have the Trialtech stem, which is a pretty high-rise stem. It's 110mm by 35 degrees, and that works perfectly with the inspired arcade riser bars. The inspired arcade bars have a 4-degree up sweep, 9-degree back sweep, and they're 730mm wide. So again, between that bar and stem combo, working with the frame duo that we've already talked about, just gives a really nice comfortable position when on two wheels as well as up on the back wheel. Moving on to what is quite possibly the most important part of any trials bike, and that is the brakes. I'm running the single calipered Magura MT8 with 203mm rotors, and I've been very lucky to be able to get some custom 3D titanium printed lever blades. Just gives a little bit more of adjustability and helps with the power that you need for riding trials. Another interesting modification on the subject of the brakes is the front cable is actually routed directly through the steerer tube, and basically that allows us not to worry about getting your front brake cable when you're doing anything like tail whips or bar spins. Just one less thing to worry about, and it looks pretty neat as well. Another crucial part of any trials bike is having grippy tyres. These are the Continental 24-inch Air Kings. Custom tread pattern for trials. They give you grip on concrete, rails, or anything that you might find yourself on when riding trials. With these tyres, I'm running a full tubeless setup with the muck-off puncture sealant combined with a rim packed foam insert. In terms of wheels, I'm pretty lucky to have a limited edition set of 24-inch reserve carbon rims. I don't want to tempt fate, but I'm pretty sure they're unbreakable. So one of the particularly trick parts of this bike is the rear hub. It is an Industry 9 Hydra hub. One of the things that you always look for in a trials bike is as many engagements as possible in the rear hub, because the less lag you have, the better. And this hub has 690 engagements and just allows as much energy as possible that you're putting through your pedals and through your legs to be translated into forward momentum. Moving on to the rest of the drivetrain, this is a 22-tooth front chainring with a 16-tooth rear sprocket. So 22/16 is a ratio that's kind of collectively become the standard in street trials because it just gives us that good balance between getting up to speeds when you want to run up for something, but also a fair bit of torque when it comes to doing more static moves like gap jumps. One thing that you'll find on pretty much every trials bike is the bash guard. And this is actually particularly cool because Inspired developed a few years ago this all new bash guard and chainring, which is CNC'd from one piece of aluminium. In terms of the chain, it is a KHE BMX chain, so it's super strong, and that is running through a Trialtech chain tensioner. What that essentially does is, in the absence of having any derailleur, just keeps the chain nice and tight, which is crucial for trials bikes. The cranks are SRAM GX Eagle 170mm cranks, and last but definitely not least is the Crank Brothers Stamp 7 pedals in size large. Size large is just really nice in the trials bike because it gives a big landing zone for your feet, and I've got really big pins there to maximise grip. So there we have it, that is my all new Marin custom trials bike. I honestly can't describe just how stoked I am with this thing. I'm really looking forward to riding this thing some more and see what it's capable of. If any of you have any questions about the bike, please leave them in the comments below and I'll happily get back to you. In the meantime, stay safe and we'll catch you next time. Peace. Cheers to that, boys. Not too bad.